Hey guys, Joe Teti and Dale Comstock here. So we're moving down this road, kicking this can down the road about hotel security and personal security, and we're outside of the hotel, and Dale and I are just sitting there shooting the shit, talking about, how would you do your due diligence on what hotel to stay at and whatnot. Well, man, the internet's a great thing. One thing that, a no-brainer is, look at the reviews, right? Look at the reviews at the hotel. Are there reviews saying that their people with cars have gotten broken into or their rooms have gotten broken into? It's going to be on there. Those are a great source of intel to see if the hotel you're going to be staying at is going to be a problem child for you. You can also do a Google Earth, reconnaissance with yourself and just zoom down on the hotel, see where it's at. Is it in the boonies? What's around it? I've done that actually myself a few times, and it's actually paid off. Another thing you might want to consider, are you near a hotel or near a hospital? Are you near a police station? Stuff like that. Now, when you travel down range or you go overseas, there's other considerations that come into play as well, and Dale's going to discuss that right now.
Yeah, so if you ever go overseas, outside the United States,
I want to show you guys something. This is our Commando knife, inspired by the Vietnam SOG knife. Whether it's for hunting, camping, or emergency survival, this knife is built to handle it all. And talking about the handle, look at this bad boy. We got the stars and stripes on the handle for America. We got a glass breaker for any rescue situations you might be in, a durable 6.875 blade. It's the only knife you'll ever need once you get your hand on this bad boy. And guess what? This knife is free. Just for watching this video. All you have to do is cover the shipping by clicking in the link in the description, but we're only giving away 200 of these Commando knives. It's backed by a 1-year satisfaction guaranteed, so get to the link in the description and get yours now. Hurry up and get this bad boy. Oi, back to the video.
get on the internet and go to the local consulate, embassy, US Embassy in that country that you go into. And you can actually register with the State Department, give them your cell phone number, and register, let them know when you're going to be there. And if there's any in-country incidents or any issues that arise while you're in country, they can actually reach out to you and let you know and help help you keep aware of what the situation is. So it's better than walking around blindly in a foreign country and not knowing what's going on or understanding what you need to do or who you need to contact to basically to recover yourself and get out of the country. I live in Indonesia, and I can tell you there's not a whole lot of Americans over there, very few in fact, and a lot of times, I mean, I'll go the entire day and never see another foreigner, another expat, and it's kind of disconcerting a little bit if something happens. It's I feel like a fish swimming alone out there in a sea of sharks. So. But I know if I'm registered with the embassy that if there's something that's happening, right, there's there's some type of civil unrest, all of a sudden bubbled up, then I'll get an immediate notification of it. Plus, you can go to the website and look at what's the current threat situation, what is the crime that's trending at the time, things to look out for, things to consider. For example, depending on what country you go to, they have different ways of committing crime. And like in Thailand, for example, you can if you go to a bar and you lick a woman's breast, for example, they do that there, right? The topless bars, they coat their nipples with a type of it's a type of roofie, right? And it knocks you out. They walk you to your room and they rob you. Every country has its way of doing it. Central South America. They like to use scopolamine. Some people call it devil's breath. It actually comes from the flower. And it's a powder, and they can put it in your drink, they can blow it in your face, and then instantly, you become a walking zombie. Right? It actually happened to my ex-mother-in-law. We sent her some money through Western Union. She went down to pick it up. They were watching her. She walked out to the bus station. Lady walked by, blew scopolamine in her face, and literally knocked her out on her feet. And robbed her, and she sat at that bus station for about 4 hours before she came to, like, hey, what happened? So, understanding what the threat is and the crime, trending crime is in each country is an important factor, right? Hotels, what's going on, because some people exploit hotels for tourists because they know, okay, we're going to have tourists, and they set cameras up, they set them up for, for crime. A lot of times it starts right at the airport, literally at the airport with immigration, right? What do you do? Why you visit this country? What do you do? I'm a business guy, you know, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this guy must have money, right? Hey, you got a guy coming out, he's a good market. And before you know it, you're being marked and set up for a criminal act. You know, maybe it's not today, maybe it's tomorrow, but it's going to happen to you. So go to the State Department website. You can go to the U.S. consulate of that area that you're going to, and read the crime statistic. What's going on there right now, so you have a better situational awareness.
Guys, if you can't see, there's a general message that we keep saying over and over again, and we're not literally coming out and saying it, but it's do your freaking homework, right? Do your homework. You know, if you're going to be traveling somewhere that may be sketchy, and it doesn't have to be in a foreign country. If you're going to Chicago, I'd be doing my damn homework, okay? There are dangerous places in the United States, so do your homework. You got plenty of time. The internet's, I mean, there's so much information out there. Only a fool would travel with their family to another place and at least do a small background investigation of where you're going. I mean, you don't have to do a full-blown, full mission profile of where you're going and a close target recon, but do some kind of intel gathering on where you're going, you know what's been going on at the hotel, the town that you're going to. Is there crime? Where is the crime? What does the crime look like? You know, is it being conducted by a certain type of person? Like if you go to Mexico, it's pretty much a no-brainer. You know, the crime elements you have down there, the Mexican drug cartel, and they play hardball, right? You get hemmed up by the Mexican drug cartel, you're fucked. You're in big trouble, right? You're in big trouble, and the cavalry ain't gonna come and save you. So anyway, just do your homework, and you can mitigate a lot of this risk. A lot.
Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better off you will be, and you won't be caught by surprise.
So as you're doing a site survey, site analysis on the hotel you're staying at, you know, use Google Earth. Take a look at the hotel. I mean, Google Earth, if you've never used it, it's a great tool. I actually have Google Earth Pro, and I'm here to tell you, man, you can zoom down. You can actually put a person boots on the ground where you're actually seeing what it looks like from the road. You can see the front of the hotel. Wherever they took the video, you can see. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to get behind the hotel because there's not a road there. But you can go up and down the roads. You can see what's all around, what stores there, everything. Great piece of technology. I mean, I use Google Earth all the time. That's one thing. You know, and like Dale was saying, if you're going down range, you know, use the State Department websites. I've actually used them twice traveling. When I was shooting my show, we went to kind of two sketchy areas. And one was in Africa and one was in South America. And I actually did a site survey for our crew before we left. But, you know, guys, just do your homework. Reviews online, those are biggie. Who doesn't look at reviews? I do. Yeah, I do. I never used to. I ain't lied to you. I never used to until about 3-4 years ago. And I use them all the time now. Granted, you've got to wash it. Some people are kind of swayed, but if I'm reading, my car got broken into, my room got broken into, blah, 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 blah. All right, that's a pattern. Okay, that's not a hotel that I'm going to stay at, period. Here's another one. If you've got people in your family, maybe you've got somebody who's a type 1 or type 2 diabetic, maybe they got heart problems, you know, really bad allergies, whatnot, you know, you might want to consider how far away you are from a hospital or a medical facility. And so, you know, just little things like that. Again, you know, like, man, that's a little bit much. Right up to the point when you need it. Where's the hospital? You should have known where it's at. You should have known where the hospital was. You drive out of the hotel. You take a left at the light. You go a mile. You take a right at the light, and it's 3 miles down the road. You should know this stuff because guess what? You're in a medical emergency. You know, somebody's going into a diabetic, you know, coma or some damn thing, or they're having a heart attack. You don't have time to be looking this shit up on the internet. You better know where to go and how to get there as fast as possible.
So first thing I do when I check into a hotel, take my baggage, I go to my room. I actually check my room. I check the closets, check the toilet area. I check the sheets to see if they've actually been changed. I've gone to hotel rooms where there was still hair in the bed. They didn't do anything but tighten up the sheets. So I usually do a quick survey of the room, make sure that at least meets my standard and it is secure, that we don't have any kind of bugs in there or anything like that, we need to concern ourselves. Not just bed bugs, but actually electronic bugs, right? Then I'll come out and I'll actually walk the hotel premises. I want to know where the exits are. I want to know where the vending machines are. I want to know basically where the key areas are that I'm going to need to know how to either get out or get out to the front door, or get out the back door, get out the side doors. And understanding where I'm living and staying is an important thing to me, as well as the parking area. What does it look like, and know what my surroundings are. It's pretty simple, but for me personally, when I go into a hotel room, I lock it down. We talked about this in another video where we don't take all our things out of our bags. We keep everything secure in one bag. So if we had to grab our stuff and run, we can do that. I'm always ready to bug out. Always ready to move to another hotel if I have to in a split second. So those are some of the things I do. I lock my doors, and we talked about this earlier about secure the door latches with a towel. Wedges for the door wedges if they fit. But making sure that once I'm ensconced in my room, I can sleep relatively peacefully and not have to worry about any problems.
One little thing that the only reason I'm bringing this up is it's happened to me once, and I was downrange and was staying at a hotel, and this was not on vacation. It was on a deployment. And one of the things I noticed about the hotel is there was one way in and one way out. There wasn't multiple exits, which made me really nervous. If the hotel would have been attacked, and I had a car, actually I had a BMW, it was a 325i, and I was trying to figure out how in the hell to get off the property if that exit was blocked. Because if you would have blocked one exit, you could leave on foot, but you weren't driving out. So I actually found this little cutout. I had to go over a curb, about the size of a curb you see at a regular hotel, but I found a little path that a car could fit through that would have got me out the back of the hotel, and that's basically where I parked, because we were in a really bad area, shit going on every night, and I'm thinking, if I gotta drive the hell out of here, if the bad guys have their act together, all they got to do is block off this main entrance, the major avenue of approach. There was one, and every single person in that hotel had nowhere to go unless you walked out. So I'm not saying you have to take it to that level, but it depends on where you're at.
It always comes back to situational awareness,
right?
Understanding your surroundings, your environment, where you're operating in, whether it's downrange or whether it's in the United States. We're living in a time where it's feral, it's dangerous, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. All we gotta do is watch the news every day. We're seeing carjackings, we're seeing mobs come into neighborhoods. No longer, we're seeing riots, we're seeing physical violence. We're living in changing times, and I don't think it's going to get much better. I think it's going to get much worse. And if you want to survive, down the road, you want to survive and you want to thrive, you're going to have to think way outside the box. You're going to have to stop thinking like, most people think, 9 to 5, they're office dwellers, they don't think about security. They always think somebody else is going to take care of this issue for them. The police is going to be there. You need to start thinking about taking care of your own survivability, your own protection. And part of that is becoming more alert and more aware of the whole situation. What's going on? What are the possibilities? What are the potential threats out there? What are my potential vulnerabilities? And develop your own risk analysis and go, okay, we had a conversation earlier where a person that he's working with had a firearm, very wealthy man, very wealthy, and basically he pulled out a handgun. He goes, look, this is my gun. And I'll let you describe it, man.
I'm not going to mention this person's name. I don't want to embarrass anyone, but he had a 40 cal, and he's like, hey man, check out my pistol. And so, of course, wanted to clear it first. I took out the magazine, and as soon as I took out the magazine, I looked down, and he had 9mm ammo in a 40 cal. I hate to say you don't know what you don't know, but Jesus, like really, you shouldn't even be owning a handgun being that stupid.
Well, and the point is, if you don't know, you should find out, you should
Exactly.
learn, right? And that's what this is all about. No longer do we live in a time where we can rely on law enforcement? We've seen that on the news now, right? You can't rely on law enforcement. Not that they don't want to do their job, they're just overwhelmed. It's pretty much becoming every man for himself. And so if you want to survive, especially in the future, then you need to start learning these survival imperatives, these survival skills. You need to know that 40 caliber you don't feed 9mm to a 40 caliber, right? You need to understand what you're doing, what your weapons are. Otherwise, you're just going to become, you're going to become a victim, and nobody wants to be a victim.
To wrap this up, that's a lot of good stuff. I will tell you, I quote Dale, this is a very, very good analogy, and it's one of my favorite sayings now. So, what we're doing with these videos is we're giving you these tactical gold nuggets, right? These tools to put in your tactical toolbox, right? So you got this toolbox, and great idea, great idea, great idea. And you're filling up your toolbox. Well, if you got this toolbox, and the only tool you have in it is a hammer, right? The whole world looks like a nail. The only thing you can do is nail a nail with a hammer. But you need to have a screwdriver, and you need to have a pair of pliers, and you need to have Allen wrenches. That's what these videos are all about. We're giving you really good, tactical, sound, things that we've used that we know works, gold nuggets that you can put in your toolbox. So when the crap does hit the fan, you don't just pull out a hammer and go, well, shit, I wish I had, an Allen wrench, but I don't. And you're trying to, it doesn't work that way, guys. You've got to be armed with a lot of knowledge. And, these videos, you could probably fill up a notebook with some of the stuff we've been talking about. If you guys like this video, go ahead and ring that bell or do some damn thing to watch more. Bell below.